Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. This is an unscheduled edition. Breaking news coming out of Wyoming, possibly a recovery in Teton National Park. We don't know if this is the recovery of Gabby Petito's body. There's many hikers and many people go missing there, and there's many people that utilize that park. It's supposed to be in a remote area. I want to say a special thank you to all the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and everyone who subscribes to this community. If you have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. I'm going to show you quickly the news report when it became breaking. This is from a little bit ago, but I'm going to play it. It's just 2 minutes, so just grin and bear it with me. So I could show you this, and then we'll get right into the live news conference when it goes on. I'll just be able to show the audio and not the video. So bear with me.
This is breaking news from KSL.
Good afternoon, everyone. We break into programming at this hour to bring you breaking news right now in the disappearance of 22-year-old Gabby Petito.
This is exclusive video that you're about to see of Chopper 5. You are looking right now just outside Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Our crew spotted crime scene investigators on the ground in the Spread Creek dispersed camping area where the FBI has been searching for Gabby since yesterday.
Well, let's give you some background as to the relationship this story has right now to Salt Lake City. 22-year-old Gabby, who lives in Florida, was first reported missing by her family last.
Okay, so what we're looking at is an overhead view of the chopper. This is the actual recovery spot. You could see horses here on the upper left part of your screen. It's on the upper left part of my screen. And there is a cover right here. And this is probably right in the area where these 5 gentlemen are in place of where the recovery is. So waiting for the medical examiner who should be on the scene. If this is a human remains that have been there for a while, they will not be able to make a positive identification on the scene. So I'm just going to tell you, you've heard it here. There could be many different sets of circumstances that are going on here. If there's identification on the person, if there's clothing still on the fully attached human body, and there's clothing there, and there's identification, that's a ground ball. But if it is skeletal remains or it's human remains beyond recognition, it'll be a removal to the medical examiner's office for forensics evaluation and to make a positive identification. So it will take time depending on the situation. We don't know the nature and the state of the remains of the human body that was recovered. So let's just listen in. And this is a live look from probably about 35, 40 minutes ago.
Saturday on September 11th. Relationship this story has right
Area where the FBI has been searching for Gabby since yesterday.
Well, let's give you some background as to the relationship this story has right now to Salt Lake City. 22-year-old Gabby, who lives in Florida, was first reported missing by her family last Saturday on September 11th, when her boyfriend, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, returned home to Florida without her. But getting back to that video a little bit about Grand Teton National Park, our crew spotted some crime scene investigators on the ground in the Spread Creek dispersed camping area where the FBI apparently has been searching for Gabby since yesterday. This gives you some background here as we're talking a little bit about their relationship here.
That's right. 2 days ago, we found out that Brian, who was a person of interest, suddenly vanished from his Florida home. He has not been seen since, and there is an active search in Florida today. That started yesterday.
Gabby and Brian took off on a cross-country trip in their van to the West Coast in June. Gabby was documenting the entire trip on social media. On August 12th, body cam video from Moab police caught them after the two got into apparently a heated argument.
Gabby was seen crying on the video, but neither of them wanted to press charges, so they left. On August 24th, Gabby's family ordered her food here in Salt Lake while the two traveled through this area on their way to Grand Teton National Park. That was the last time we heard from Gabby.
Now, on September 1st, he shows up in the van to his home in there in Florida. Gabby was reported missing on September 11th. Gabby and Brian's van has been spotted by other hikers in the area where that search is taking place right now.
Well, again, exclusive video coming in from Chopper 5 of something that investigators have found. We don't know exactly what has been found. We are covering this breaking news story from all angles. News specialist Garda Mejia and Morgan Wolf, who have been covering this case since the beginning, are both headed to Grand Teton National Park.
And we'll have more from them coming up on KSL News at 4 o'clock. And news specialist Matt Rascone also digging into this case, and we'll have more on what investigators may have found there in Grand Teton National Park.
Again, you're looking at that video from Chopper 5 just taken a couple of hours ago. So we will continue to follow the search for Gabby and Brian. Watch for updates on air.
About Grand Teton National Park, our crew spotted some crime scene investigators on the ground in the Spread Creek dispersed camping area where the FBI apparently has been searching for Gabby since yesterday. This gives you some background here as we're talking a little bit about their relationship here.
That's right. 2 days ago, we found out that.
All right, guys. So again, I'm going to scour the internet for some of the more local breaking stories. Again, there's supposed to be a press conference momentarily. I haven't seen it pop up on my screen. I was looking for it on Fox News. Let me just see if I could see anything here. If anybody knows in the chat where I could see the live press conference, I'd like to play the audio for you guys. So I'm just trying to do that. And I want to just say this, erring on the extreme side of caution here. Nobody knows for sure at this point whether it is the recovery of Gabby Petito or if it is somebody else. And irregardless of who it is, it's a human being that was recovered here today in the search. And that's always a possibility when you're looking for somebody on a grand scale. So I'm going to switch on over to Fox. Give me a second. I'm getting some info on Fox News. So let's get on over there. Take a peek. I can't play it live because that would be a copyright strike. I'm going to actually look on WFLA because they've been covering everything pretty tightly. So I want to just see what they got going on live. Stand by. Okay. So
we find out what this update is.
Let me know if
on
you
the
can
right
hear
side of
this
your screen,
audio.
These are search efforts.
Thank you so much,
in Wyoming, aerial.
PK Collins, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate your support always. So let me know if you guys hear the audio by placing a 1 in the
cars
chat.
There.
If you hear the audio from WFLA
that had been mentioned as possible locations as to where that white van had been located. So the search efforts were underway here. We've had simultaneous search efforts here, folks. Simultaneous. Because right now,
so
and it still stands this way at this moment,
I have it at the
dual
podium now.
Missing persons case for this engaged couple that left on July 2nd from New York in that white Ford van going across the country, posting on social media. The couple, of course, being Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. Brian Laundrie being, of course, Gabby's fiance and the person of interest in this case. Brian Laundrie is missing. And we were live, excuse me, we were live earlier on today with a update as to the search efforts. And right now, the search area in Florida, where Brian Laundrie could possibly be, again, seen leaving on Tuesday in hiking gear, or said to have left family on Tuesday with hiking gear. The area where he is said to be is so vast and expansive, but it is a fraction of the size of the area that is Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. So we're about to get an update here, folks.
I happen to like JB Bonino. I know I'm butchering his name, but hashtag hey JB. This guy's done a great job, and he's been real spunky with the public information officer in Florida. We watched him the other night on the replay, and JB is doing a bang-up job. I'd love to buy this guy a drink because he's the kind of news reporter that you want to have on this kind of case because he asks the tough questions. So that's why I like about JB. Let's listen in.
It's a story that, of course, has captured the attention of so many people across the country. Folks in New York are following this because this road trip began in New York. People in Florida following this, of course, and of course the Petito family and family members that are in New York. People in Florida, of course, paying close attention. That's where Brian Laundrie is said to have driven the van back to and is now missing. On, excuse me.
Amen. He is hiding, not missing. That is a fact.
Wyoming, that is where Gabby Petito was last known to be. The text message that was sent, no signal in Yosemite, or no service in Yosemite.
This is the news conference. It's not started yet. They're setting up the podium right now.
Is believed to have gone wrong during this cross-country road trip. And so we have a multi-state investigation.
Grace, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Much appreciated. And also, Eye of the Storm, Taro, thank you for the $10 super chat. Much love and respect. And it is greatly appreciated. I do appreciate the support. Grace Green, thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for becoming a member, Stephanie McKinney.
Is Gabby. Even earlier, when we were searching and showing you the search area in Florida for Brian Laundrie and showing you some of the search efforts that were currently underway at that time, everyone was asking, "Where is Gabby?" I want people.
Where is Gabby?
Comments here. People were saying, "I want to find Brian, so that we can find Gabby." And so right now, no update in Florida, but we do have an update that you're about to see here on your screen here, folks. We'll go full screen as they do a white balance here, a full screen here. We will go full screen here the moment that the press conference gets underway. What we'll do then afterwards, after the press conference gets underway, or after the press conference concludes, we'll be here live to break down what we learned, what we know, what we still don't know. And we'll have a conversation with you, and we'll animate some of your comments here on screen. In the meantime here, folks, I can take some of your hashtag KJB comments and questions here, but at the same time, I'm hesitant to do so because I know that the moment that we start.
So right now, up at the podium is they're just getting started.
Listening.
Here we go.
On REM 2 AT.
Why don't we hear him?
Talking to the mic. This is mic check for New York. New York, mic check. Checking mic.
Thanks, Bugsy. They're doing mic
levels
checks right
from
now.
Wyoming.
And we can't hear him well.
So clearly a mic check getting underway here, but anytime anyone steps up to the podium, I'm going to go full screen here on the touch screen, and we'll go live and we'll listen in, and the whole world will be able to listen in.
So the presser hasn't started yet. There's just somebody up at the podium, and he is just trying to do some checking. They're taking the screen and put it down in the background. We're going to be getting into it here. You're not going to be able to hear him yet because the audio is down. When the representative of the FBI comes up, you'll be able to hear him. So
identity has not been revealed, and they won't say if it was a man or a woman. Let's break down some of the key questions that are going to be asked in this press conference. Give you a little bit of a primer here as to of course the first questions are going to be, and what we anticipate happening here is an announcement being made and then a question and answer period. And
I agree with him here. There's going to be an announcement, an official statement made on this recovery in Grand Teton National Park. The police, local, state, and federal will be at this presser, but I'd imagine the FBI is going to probably take the lead, or the police chief in that local area in Grand Teton National Park. And then they are going to come up to the podium, and after giving their statement, they will take some questions from the reporters. And that's going to be interesting because they usually limit the questions to these are usually short. This is not going to be a long press conference, but at least we'll have answers instead of hearing fake book rumors and all the people who are putting out frivolous information. This is where I go to, and let me just tell you this. I'm going to go full screen with me. I do not, because of my profession and my experience, I do not listen to what anybody else tells me on the internet. And I don't say that because I don't trust anybody. It's just that I know that there's so much misinformation and so many people. It's like a story that would spread in high school. You would say a story would start as Johnny and Billy fought outside underneath the bleachers. And then by the time the end of the day came, it was Johnny stabbed him under the bleachers, or Johnny shot him. So everything changes. You got to get it from the local or the state or federal authorities. Just wait to get the information from local PD. And that's the best that I could tell you.
and I want to make sure that I have the date here.
This is the video.
Correct.
This is the video of the
August
van.
27th.
August
Is when
27th.
they believe that this video was shot.
This is shady.
And
this is shady.
This is a massive clue. Now, based on the video here, the video shows us what does the video show us? The video shows us a van here parked off. This is Grand Teton National Park. A van here that was parked on the left side of the road here. Kind of an odd spot to be parked. People on Reddit and TikTok have been combing through this video to determine whether or not this is, in fact, it's hard. You can't see too well if it's Florida plates, but trying to comb through and determine whether or not this is, in fact, the Laundrie and Petito vehicle.
I would have to say that's as close of a depiction of that vehicle. And what would be the odds and what would be the chances of that same vehicle? There'd be two identical ones with the black ladder on it, with the black roof rack and all of that stuff. It just, to me, that has to be them. I mean, I would say 98% that's them. That's the van. Now, who was in that van and was she alive at that point? Is she alive? Were they both in that van? We don't know because they didn't stop. So, again, folks, I have to say we all have to use an air of caution here. I think we're getting ready to go.
Here, folks, let's listen in.
Here we go.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll have time for a brief...
Come on with the audio.
Because this is an ongoing investigation, we won't have time for questions. Please.
It looks like FBI here.
Good afternoon. My name is Charles Jones. I'm the Supervisory Senior Resident Agent here in Wyoming for FBI Denver. Standing with me here today are Acting Chief Ranger Matt Wilbur with the National Park Service, Hunter Bailey, who is Chief of the National Park Service Investigative Services Branch. We also have Teton County Sheriff Matt Carr and Jackson Police Chief Michelle Weber.
As I said, they'd all be
First
represented.
and foremost, on behalf of the FBI personnel and our partners, I would like to extend sincere and heartfelt condolences to Gabby's family. Joe and Tara Petito and Jim and Nicole Schmidt. As every parent can imagine, this is an incredibly difficult time for the family and friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. We ask that you all respect the privacy as they mourn the loss of their daughter.
Shit.
As you are aware, FBI personnel, in coordination with our partners at National Park Service, the Forest Service, Teton County Sheriff's Office, and Jackson Police Department, have been conducting an investigative activity in the vicinity of the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. Earlier today, human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time. We appreciate your continued support and patience as we work through this process. The vicinity around Spread Creek campsite will remain closed to the public until further notice. This is an active and ongoing investigation, so we ask everyone maintain distance from law enforcement personnel and equipment, vehicles, and related activity for their own safety, as well as to protect the integrity of our work and respect privacy for Gabby's family. We appreciate the tremendous support from the public. The support from the public's response to request of tips has been remarkable. We continue to seek information from anyone who utilized the Spread Creek dispersed camping area between the dates of August 27th and August 30th. Anyone that may have had contact with Gabby or her boyfriend, or who may have seen their vehicle in that area. Please share any new information with the FBI at tips.FBI.gov or 1-800-CALL-FBI. And finally, the Denver Field Office Direct is 303-629-7171. Photos and videos can also be uploaded at fbi.gov/Petito. We thank our partners at the National Park Service, the U.S. Forest Service, Teton County Sheriff's Office, and Jackson Police Department for their collaboration and diligence in this investigation. They surged their resources in a very short amount of time, and their personnel have intimate knowledge of the rugged terrain that we're dealing with, which made this process much more difficult. We greatly appreciate the invaluable skill and expertise of the Teton County Search and Rescue Team. We also thank the community of Jackson and the surrounding areas for the hospitality and for accommodating a rapid influx of law enforcement personnel in the area. In order to protect our investigative process and increase probability of successful prosecution should it be necessary, we have no additional comments. We appreciate your cooperation and respect for Gabby's family, loved ones during this difficult time. Thank you.
Heartbreaking. My God, the worst.
So can you please tell us why you led to that campsite in particular? As opposed to
It's an ongoing investigation, sir. We cannot answer those, unfortunately, at this time.
Okay, as I said, it would be very limited, and it was true to my word. I told you it would be a quick press conference. Again, this is the worst case scenario, but again, we wanted to bring her home. We wanted Gabby found. At least this part of the puzzle is figured
Breaking
out.
news on
So let me just hear what they're
Gabby
saying.
Petito.
Let's see what they're saying here.
The news we all feared. Confirmed here by authorities at Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. A body matching Gabby Petito's description found by hard-working search members here today, Sunday, September 19th, 2021. And Gabby Petito's family has been informed of the tragic news. Hey there, folks. JB Buno here with you live on WFLA Now. That 6 o'clock presser was difficult for even members of law enforcement to deliver the news here. The news that
You
we have all
heard
been
the
hearing
FBI representative's voice crackle.
last
I knew as soon as he came to that podium that there was a recovery and it was
every
positive.
Single solitary person that I spoke to personally off the clock when I talked to them about this story, when I told them the details, when the story began to first gain traction Monday, Tuesday of last week, when I talked to them and I said, this was a couple that went, an engaged couple that went on a cross-country road trip. They were together and they made it all the way from your posting on social media, all the way through to Wyoming, to Utah, to that area of the country. And then the social media trail of breadcrumbs went cold. And Brian returned to the Tampa Bay area, to Northport, Florida, with her van, and Gabby was missing, and Gabby was not part of that.
Guys, if I could, for the folks that are here in the chat, if you could put prayers and hearts, prayer emojis for the Petito family, please let's light this live stream up with love for this family and support on the loss of their 22-year-old daughter, Gabby Petito. I'm just going to lower this and bow my head for a moment of silence and some prayer for the family. Difficult time. This is, now 8 days. It is last Friday that she was reported by her mom missing. 8 days of uncertainty, but right now I'm just going to bow my head for a quick prayer.
As we get in some stray audio here, let me just kind of take care of that. Brian had scratches on his face. Gabby clearly distraught here. Something just wasn't right between this couple. There have been people examining their body language, their responses, their facial expressions to this moment. And Gabby, clearly here, distraught. It's a hard video to watch. Is separated from Brian Laundrie. And
Terrible,
they stayed at
guys.
separate hotels that night.
I got to say, I'm gonna just lower the audio on JB right now. The work is not done. This is just one part of the investigation. Now, there is also a report that there was a recovery over in Florida, and I don't know the verification or the validity of that story, but I know that there was some type of recovery in Florida where they were searching for Brian Laundrie. This could be the worst case scenario because the person who has the answers to the rest of this puzzle potentially could be could be gone as well. We don't know, but what we could say is this: this is an ongoing investigation. It's a fluid investigation. Right now, probable cause exists to issue an arrest warrant for Brian Laundrie at this time. But is Brian Laundrie going to be able to be produced? As they say, dead men tell no tales. So if he in fact isn't alive at this point, it's going to be left up to forensics and computer forensics and the DNA and all different types of other investigative tools to put together what happened. There'll be no prosecution, barring prosecution of the Laundrie family for aiding and abetting a known felon. So that's yet to be seen. We'll have much to speak about. Yeah, Lieutenant Pranzo, murder, suicide, so sad if true. This is just a extreme possibility. And the way things are looking right now, Brian Laundrie, it seems like in all cases here and everything, all indicators are pointing to his cowardness, and they didn't want to face up or fess up to what he did. And it wouldn't be surprising or shocking to me if he did take his own life. Now, I hope and pray that he didn't, because I'd like to see him be brought to justice and pay for this crime that he committed onto Gabby Petito. But, the whole world right now, hearts are broken. The family, her mom, Gabby's mom, Nicole Schmidt, Jimmy Schmidt, is there, boots on the ground in Wyoming. I can't even imagine what's going on. The Uncle Joe, Father Joe, her biological father, the Uncle Mike Schmidt, been communicating and talking back and forth with him quite a bit, and the family hasn't slept in 8 days. So it is just heartbreaking, heart-wrenching to hear and see this. Let's listen into JB for a moment.
They have done countless interviews.
He's getting emotional. JB, wow.
I'm thinking of that family right now, because they've done everything right. They've done it right. They've made themselves available.
Look at this emotion.
They've come up to the podium. They've hired an attorney. They issued statements. They did this. They did it all the right way because they were just trying to find Gabby. So this is a family that is really having an extremely rough day.
You don't see this often.
Let's just focus on Gabby for a second and Gabby Petito's family. She was 22 years old. She was 22. All right, let's bring up some of the commentary here, and Nico Clemens. I'm going to see if I can bring this up here on.
As I was talking, I looked up and saw he was visibly emotional and shaken.
Everybody to load this up. So
he's been with this case.
I need a moment myself, but just everyone just kind of bear with me here for a moment, and we'll just kind of bring this up here on screen.
He's visibly shaken, JB. What a good man. This is someone who takes his job seriously and is.
There we have it.
Look at him.
Moments ago from Joseph Petito.
I'm going to send him a message.
And we'll just kind of look at this here. And you can find me on Twitter at WFLAJB, and that's on the screen here. And I apologize, I shouldn't have. This is my account. Joseph Petito here. Heartbreak emoji, hashtag Gabby Petito. She touched the world. And put up this picture.
I can't. Yes, folks, it's been confirmed. Raw emotions, Jen Lo. Yes.
So To all of our commenters here and our viewers, many of you have been with us here on WFLA Now over the last several days, really the last week or so, and you've been part of this story and you've been commenting. I mean, we've been having conversations here, and it's been difficult. It's been extraordinarily difficult, and we now have an answer here as to where is Gabby, and Gabby's in a higher place. Gabby's not here with us, but in some place better. And, or at least let's just kind of think of it that way for a moment here. Because again, we're talking about a 22-year-old girl who got engaged, had her whole life ahead of her. And I want to think of it as her being in a better place, but she's no longer with us here based on what we just found out here in the last hour. And this is difficult news to digest, and we're going to do it here together. I never met this girl. And if this type of story had occurred 30, 40 years ago, maybe this type of a response wouldn't be in me. But you watch enough YouTube videos. This is a 2021 story in that you watch enough YouTube videos, Instagram clips, you see enough pictures, and you feel, and I'm sure the people out there are thinking the same thing. You feel like you knew a little bit about who Gabby was. No one knows more than the Gabby Petito family and those closest to Gabby, but just she was a free spirit as we understand it. She was somebody that loved to go on adventures. She was somebody who was magnetic and loved sharing her experiences with
I got to say, I'm going to piggyback on what JB's saying here. A free spirit, a kind-hearted soul. She seemed like a person who trusted many. She was friendly, inviting, pretty. You know, I've seen so many videos of her just looking at this case. I've spoken with her family on Messenger. Just a huge loss for the Petito family, for America, for the world. This case became like wildfire, became an international story. And I got to say that, you know, all of the videos that I've done, which are probably about 4 or 5, I've only done about 4 or 5 videos on this case. I've called Brian Laundrie a scumbag, cold-hearted, heartless, and I got some for it. I did get a lot of backlash for it. Is like, how are you saying this about him?
So just take a moment.
I had a gut feeling that he was, in my heart, responsible for her disappearance. I couldn't put my finger on what he did to her or how he did it, and we still don't know that yet. And we will know that after the autopsy is completed. But at the end of the day, I felt strongly that he was wholeheartedly responsible for her disappearance, and now we find out her death. I have no regrets, and I don't take any of that back. People had said to me, you know, there's, innocent until proven guilty. Well, guess what? Every action that he showed us, everything that he exposed, his cards that he showed to us, led us to guilt. You know, the court of public opinion and the court of, the justice of, community justice or whatever you want to call it. We're all free thinkers, right? And when we see what's given to us, what's put in our plate, what we were being served for dinner was a plate of really foul things. If your fiance, you travel and decide to travel cross country with her, and you return home and just put your head down on the pillow and go to sleep for 10 days or more, and had no intentions of calling or telling the authorities anything. Had our parents waited another month, she would have just laid there in a remote, as they said, in a remote area, a very remote area. And for someone to do something like that, you have to be a special kind of evil human monster. You're not even a human being, you're a monster. to do that to any human being. I don't care what the circumstances are or how they were getting on your nerves or how you were fighting or not getting along. Walk the fuck away from it. And excuse my language. Walk away from it. Have that person call their family and let them come pick them up. Have that person give them the opportunity to get away from you. You can't stand them so much. Don't take another person's life and then just put your head down and go to bed. So this is a person who, for me, is a piece of human garbage. So we're going to listen back into JB from WFLA now.
For the Petito family, the family that just wanted to find their daughter.
Thank you, George.
They did, but not in the way that they had originally hoped. We've gotten in the last several moments, we've gotten in some updates that we're going to get to. Just first here, before we do that, just a couple.
Thank you, Marcy, for the $5 super chat from EquiSearch. Prayers for Gabby's family. She is coming home. Prayers to the Laundrie family as well, that they can bring Brian in. Lost is not alone. Yes, we got to bring all home. Lost is not alone. Thank you, Marcy, from the EquiSearch family. Much love and respect.
Fly high, let her wings soar. A very touching comment here from Michelle. From Anastasia, hashtag hey JB, my thoughts and prayers are with the Petito family. Justice for Gabby. Let's first and foremost show you the area where this all happened here today. So this is video that we just got in. Let me make sure that I attribute this video properly. Very important to give the proper credit here to those who shot this video. And this is from. And I'll make sure I have
played
right
this before.
Here.
We played this before. This is
I
from.
thought I had it right up here on one of my screens, and I don't. But
this is
one second here.
This is
this is
channel
from
5.
KSL.
KSL. Yep.
KSL Chopper 5. This was where
we played this before we went live.
Of Gabby Petito, or the body again. We
remember we were playing this show on the horses before the live press conference
of the body examination and the identity process here. But a body matching Gabby Petito's description has been found here in this location. But it's enough of a match preliminarily to contact the Petito family and inform them what has happened. These were the search efforts that were underway here today, and this is where they found a body. This video has been screened here. The video has been screened to ensure, of course, that we're not showing anything that we're not supposed to. But this is where Gabby was found. And now, and back to the commenter here a moment ago, justice for Gabby.
Amen to that.
There needs to be justice for Gabby Petito. There needs to be justice for Gabby Petito.
I agree.
And we don't know how swift that justice is. But let me just say this. Before we take more of your hashtag HJB comments, and now we carry this conversation forward into a man's name here that I'm going to start saying over and over again here in a few minutes. A man here on the right side of your screen. I want to talk about Florida law enforcement for
rest in peace, Gabby.
This has been really a long week for members of Florida law enforcement. Brian Laundrie is someone who returns back to Florida, returns here to Sarasota County in his fiance's van on a cross-country road trip that he was just on, but he returns to Florida in her van without his fiance and immediately has an attorney hired. And everyone wants to know what he has to say. And Florida law enforcement do what they can, but because of the law and the law is in place, Brian Laundrie invokes his constitutional right to remain silent. And that is extremely frustrating, of course, for Florida authorities, because they have to do everything that they can to find a way to determine whether or not Brian Laundrie had anything to do with Gabby Petito's disappearance without being able to interview Brian himself. So this has been this has been an exhausting week for law enforcement here in the Tampa Bay area, in Sarasota, in Northport. It's been an exhausting week, and they've been searching. They were searching all day yesterday, all day today, and we can only hope. We can only hope that this news is I would imagine. I'll just say this. I would imagine that this news reaches the ears of Florida law enforcement here, and they're going to want that all the search efforts. This has been a grueling search in Myakkahatchee, in rural Sarasota. We can only hope now that this kicks them in and kicks them into
high gear. It's going to kick them in high gear,
but provides them with an extra jolt of motivation here to find Brian and to carry on in these search efforts. These search efforts have been grueling. It's been a long week for Sarasota law enforcement, for law enforcement at Northport Police. But let's hope that they are reinvigorated here tonight, because they want to do what they can for the Petito family and bring this to justice, bring this story to justice. All right,
Amen.
It's time to do a more.
All right, I'm going to pause that for a minute and concentrate on the chat. I'm going to open up this chat to anybody that wants to call in. You have to be able to enable your StreamYard. It's just a link that you would use on, you would just use it as a clickable link. So I'm going to share it here. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to invite anyone to want to join and come on and say some words for Gabby Petito and her family. I'm going to paste it in the chat and just come on. Make sure you're respectful. And I'll just limit it to just a couple of minutes for each person. So there's your link on StreamYard if you'd like to join and coming on to give your condolences to the Petito family. Any words of encouragement. We would like to continue to encourage Florida law enforcement to have the wheels of justice continue on. Find this scumbag if he's still alive and bring him to justice. I'm not even calling for the arrest of his family, but if it is on the books and there anything that they can prove legally that would show that Brian Laundrie's family aided and embedded him, I would say yes. Let's bring them to justice as well. But we have to take one step at a time, folks. We have to take it one step at a time. I have a few folks joining me. I'm going to have Danielle Redville Baker join in. Danielle, thank you for joining. Any words? Thank you for coming on. Any words for the Petito family?
Yeah, I think we all fell in love with Gabby, either as a friend or a daughter. And from watching this case, I feel like I know her. And it's just so heartbreaking. And I pray for the Petito family.
Thank you.
And that they get justice. And this is just so heartbreaking.
Thank you. Yes, we're all, as you can see, we're all heartbroken over this. And I thank you so much for, having the courage to come on here. I know it's tough, but I say bless you for showing so much human emotion here for this family. Gabby's been all of our daughters or sisters, and we're all emotionally invested in this. So Danielle, thank you so much for. It's brave. It's brave of you to come on. So I have about 10 people waiting, so I want to get to them all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you. All right. That was Danielle. I didn't even get a chance to find out where she was from, but I'd like to ask whoever comes on just to state where you're from, your state, city, state, or country. Heather O'Brien, I'm going to add you in right now. Hi, Heather. Thank you for joining.
This is just so devastating. I've been following this for the last few days. And
where are you from, Heather? Where are you from?
Right, you just asked. I'm originally from Nevada, but we're moving here to Wisconsin. So
okay.
I'm here alone right now. And I started crying. It's just, I'm so frustrated with this whole narcissistic attitude from Brian. And the whole selfishness just to leave someone there. I mean, if you're in a state of distress, ask for help.
It's
I'm
truly
so
sickening. And I said it just moments before I started inviting guests to come on. You know, if he truly was in love with her and she was getting on his nerves, he could have called her parents and said, "Hey, could you come and get her? She's not acting right and I can't handle her." They would have gladly, her stepdad, Jimmy, would have flew out there in a second, just as he did to come and be a representative of the family. So, yeah. So Heather, thank you so much for that. If you want to just give maybe a final parting words, I got like 10 people waiting to come for the family prayers.
I just want to give love to Joe and his family and all of her friends and everyone out there. I mean, we all love her. Most of us don't know her as a person, but she's definitely a beautiful soul, and God bless everyone.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love and
you.
respect. Bye-bye now. All right. That was Heather checking in. Thank you for coming. Let's see. We got Crime and Justice. Hi, Crime and Justice. Where are you checking in?
I'm in Erin, Tennessee.
Okay. You got some words for the Petito family?
Yes, I just wanted to tell them that I am so sorry for their loss, and my condolences and my sympathies go out to them. I know what it feels like to lose a child. I've lost one too, and I know what they're going through right now, and it's very devastating. I'm crying over it, and I didn't even know her, so I cannot even imagine the heartbreak that they're going through.
Right. Yeah,
And
we just watched the press conference with an FBI lead agent. His voice was crackling. We have JB Bonino from WFAL now on the local affiliate there, WFLA now. He was broken up as well. Most professionals try to hold their composure, and this is just a testament of how Gabby tugged at everybody's heart. She became all of the world's daughter or child, if you will. So I have so many people waiting, but I thank you so much for coming in and sending your love and prayers to the family. It's
thank you for having me.
Alrighty. Bye-bye now. That was wonderful. Thank you for joining. That was Crime and Justice. Jay Fanning, thank you for joining, Jay. I know you don't have video.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Audio. Good. How are you, pal?
How are you doing today? My name
Good.
is Jay Fanning. I'm from Oklahoma.
Welcome.
I should have video, but I don't know why. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I was going to say, let the justice come to this case and let the evidence be collected so that they have the culpability is undeniable.
Mm-hmm. That's that's the next step. What we're just kind of trying to do here now is just send prayers and love to the Petito family, who is now mourning the loss of their daughter. The wheels of justice obviously will continue to go, and we will cover that as we get to those steps. But right now, I don't even for me, I don't even feel like speaking about that.
That's prayers go out to the Petito family.
Thank you, Jay. Much respect to you, and I thank you for joining. All right, I'm going to get to our next person calling in, and again, this is something I don't ever really do. This is Carolina checking in. You just got to mute your microphone so it doesn't echo. All right, we're going to move on because there's so many people. I want to get to my next guest, Matthew Ruckert. Matt, welcome. Thanks for joining. Okay. Yeah, I guess he had a bad connection. Calming the chaos. Thank you for joining. Hi, where are you calling from?
I am calling from Washington State.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, and thank you for doing what you're doing, DutyRon. I appreciate it. First off, I want to say that this may not be her. It could, but it may not be. If it is, then I am a licensed mental health counselor in Washington State, and I really think that wherever they are, they need to access some sort of mental health counseling and care. And, you know, I really like the fact that we have rights in this world, and then there is what is right and what we want to do with what is right in this world. And the Laundrie family really needs to speak up. And
Absolutely.
because I really believe that that is what is right. And I'll let you go.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much. Thank you, Common Chaos. I appreciate, respect your opinion there. Thank you. Alrighty, that was some good moving words there. Let me add in Rachel from the UK. Rachel, thank you so much for being patient and joining. I'm assuming
Hi,
you're
DutyRon.
I'm assuming you're in the UK.
I am indeed.
You have some prayers or thoughts for the Petito
I
family?
do. May she rest in paradise, not rest in peace, rest in paradise.
Amen to that.
It really hurts me to the heart because she is actually the same age as my oldest daughter,
Wow.
22 years old.
So it hits you hard at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
Absolutely does.
I have two boys, 25 and 28. And, I just couldn't even imagine. It's a parent's worst nightmare. What we heard today, just moments ago, from the FBI, the head of the FBI in that region, was heartbreaking because his voice crackled. He gave his condolences to the Petito family. That, to me, is good enough as a positive recovery. So again, we say our thoughts and prayers. We send strength and positive vibes to the Petito family and all of their friends and extended family. And that would include all of us. We've become an extended family to them through this story.
Gabby has touched the hearts of the world, not
Yeah.
just America, the world.
In such a short period of time. It just started.
Exactly. I mean, I'm tearing up now. Just
Yeah.
thinking I've got two girls, one
Yeah.
at 22, same
Yeah.
age as Gabby, one at 19.
Terrible.
And I just, my heart really does go out to her family. It really does. And I hope that they can get
Thank you, Rachel.
some
Thank you.
peace and some justice. And it's late here in the UK, so I will let you go, DutyRon.
Thank you. Much love. Thank you, Rachel.
Take care.
Bye-bye
Take
now.
care.
All right. Joining us right now is straight out of Brooklyn, retired first grade detective Phil Grimaldi. Thank you so much, Phil, for checking in. I know you guys did a live podcast today on Police Off the Cuff. Phil, what's your thoughts on this breaking news?
It's just sending chills down my spine watching all the love and the output that you're getting on your show, Ron. We did a show we just ended about an hour ago, and the news was breaking that a body had been found. I think it's kind of going in the direction that it's hard. The description fits and all. It's really heartbreaking. But you called him a scumbag when you referred to Brian earlier. The first words that came out of my mouth when we first started covering this story was that he was a scumbag because he was not cooperating with the police. I still feel the same way. It's horrendous what's taking place, that this gentleman, I shouldn't even call him a gentleman, this scumbag, that he came back from a trip with her, and for 11 days she was left wherever she was, and he was going about his life like nothing had happened. But I'm sure the wheels of justice are going to turn, and hopefully there's some evidence that's recovered at the crime scene that could tie him into this horrific thing. And again, we don't know the circumstances of her death just yet. Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I mean, all indications are he had something to hide. He invoked his right to counsel right from the beginning, and that was a big red flag for me.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Obviously, yeah. So listen, it's we made some progress. She was found. Unfortunately, we prayed and we said it today on the show, even before the body was found, that we hope that she's found safe and sound. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. And God bless her soul, and God bless her her family. It's heartbreaking.
It's a parent's worst nightmare. Heather O'Brien, thank you for the $50 super sticker. Much love and respect. Greatly appreciate that. Meg Lowe from San Diego, Southern California, she says in a $5 super chat, she says, "Rip Gabby Petito." Phil, as a seasoned investigator and myself included here, We worked in the NYPD for over 20 years. When there's a recovery in a wilderness like this, in a remote location, for the agent in charge of that region for the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, to come on national television and give his condolences to the Petito family. And you heard it just like I did, Phil. His voice was crackling. Our own reporter, who's a seasoned vet, JB Buino from WFAL Now, had a moment where he was visibly shaken and was upset on camera. I had it live here on my show. For that to go on and that to happen, we have to think that the recovery had to have been something where it would have been recognizable, where they could say for extreme certainty, they're not going to come on national television and give their condolences to the family if they hadn't had some type of, as I said before this presser went live, an ID in her pocket, a piece of identifying something in her clothing, something for them to be somewhat certain to make a summary to point to that they had a recovery of Gabby. Any thoughts on that, Phil?
Sure. I mean, listen, they obviously had a very good description of her. She was on wall-to-wall coverage with the media, so they knew what she looked like. Now, obviously, I don't know the condition of the body when it was found as far as decomposition and stuff, but blonde hair, maybe clothing. She did have some tattoos. There was some identifying marks. So I think it was very telling what you said, Ron, that the FBI agent basically said condolences. So they're certain that it's her, I would say, without a positive identification, which I obviously be done once the autopsy is done. But there had to be a good description that they went on. And just talking about it myself, I got a little choked up. It's just hard to, we kind of, over the last few days, we kind of fell in love with this young lady after seeing her beautiful face and, worrying about her and the emotion. I'm telling you, it's just, I'm looking at a lot of the chats when I tuned into your show, and the people that the outpouring of love and respect, it shows you what a great country we live in, how people really were like rallying to try and find her. And
it reinstates my faith in humanity.
Absolutely.
When you see things like this and you see the outpouring of love from complete strangers, as one of the women said from the UK, I think it was Rachel, she said, none of us knew her, but she became part of us. So it's wonderful words like that. And the people who are pouring in with these super chats, prayers for her parents during the toughest time of their life. I can't imagine the feeling, says First to Deploy with a $10 super chat. I didn't realize, Phil, because I don't want to be rude, Scout Inquirer, who is a big supporter, is going to be added in to give condolences to the Petito family. So Scout Inquirer, thank you for joining. And I apologize, I didn't see you there, but I just got an eye on you now. Scout
That's okay. That's
Scout
okay,
Inquirer,
Ron.
you got the floor, Scout.
Hi, Ron. Hi, Phil.
Hi, how are you?
I will say my heart is literally breaking for this family. As most of you know, I lost my son about 1.5 years ago. And I know everybody in the chat, their hearts are breaking. I hope there is justice for this young lady, but I also hope that she was not just America's sweetheart or New York sweetheart. As you know, Ron, I'm from Rockland County, from New York. And she was New York sweetheart, America's sweetheart, but she was the world sweetheart. And I just wanted to send my love and my prayers to the family and her friends, and to let her know that we are here to love and support as much as we can.
Thank you, Scout. Thank you so much. And, I send my prayers and strength to you for your loss. We talked many times privately. I told you I would always keep our messages and our conversations private. But, since you're talking about it here, I just want to let you know that our community here sends you love and strength always.
Oh, and I thank you for that. And I know that it's something you can't even fathom. But you just go and you just hold your loved ones close.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. And it's so sad we have to have a tragedy to bring people together. But to watch the investigator and to watch the news reporter, JB, I will tell you, I couldn't even finish making dinner. I was in tears, and my husband Pete turned around and he says, "What's the matter?" And I said, "They found this young lady."
Mm.
And he just looked at me and he just held me.
Yeah.
Because all of us felt like, from seeing all the newscasts and everything else, that we knew this young lady, from all of her social media.
Right.
So, but Ron, if you speak to the family, please, by all means, if there's anything that we can do, by all means, please don't hesitate to call me.
I'm just going to say this. I have linked all in every video that I've done. I think it's 4 or 5. I have their GoFundMe, which goes to the Johnny Mack Foundation. Her stepdad is a part of that. He's on the board. And if you click on the link, it takes you to the GoFundMe. So if anybody wants to support them with money for flowers or money for travel or anything like that, it's a bona fide. I verified it with her mother. I verified it with her uncle, and I put that in my link. So if anybody here in the chat wants to after or look at any of my other live streams on Gabby Petito, there's one clickable link that'll take you to a Johnny Mack fund. And there on there, it tells you a way to support this family. I encourage everybody, even if it's $1, send it to them. They'll need it. They're going to need all the strength that they can. And Scout, I know you can provide them with peer support from one parent to another of loss, so what loss is about.
I do. But it's just imagine what these poor folks are going through. I mean, hounded by the media or people. I mean, I came up, but there needs to be justice for this young lady, just like I know for my son. I mean, every day you pray for justice for the right thing. But before I let you go, I want to thank you personally, and you, Phil. I'm looking at both of you, and also Bill. I am a big supporter and truly your number one fan. I will say that right on the record, of both of your channels. Outstanding for both of you. You have such compassion and love. But the one thing I do know is you keep it freaking real. You give it to us up front. And we thank you for that.
Thank you, Scout, and God bless you. And I just want to say that it's people like you that make the world a happy place, and God bless you. And we need more people to get together. The world is so divided at this point, but maybe that's the one positive thing that'll come out of this, that this young girl brought a lot of people together. I mean, I sat down for dinner right before they confirmed it with my family, and we had to take a minute.
There she is, folks. There she is.
I mean, she's such a beautiful young lady, but I will tell you, she is now a beautiful angel, and she's watching down on her family, her friends, and all of us. Absolutely. And she will be our guiding light to bring this a world that we're in right now that is in turmoil. She will bring us into unity. I truly believe that.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen to that.
So on that note, I'm going to send you hugs and kisses to both of you. May you both take care, and may you both be safe. And please send my best to Bill for me, Phil.
Will do. Thank you.
You. Have a good night.
Much love. Much love to you.
And much love and respect to the both of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Bill. Bye. What a great woman. Wow. Phil, I wanted to touch on this with you while it's fresh in my mind. A lot of people in the chat, and I didn't want to go here, but I have a seasoned homicide investigator on the line here with me. This is Phil Giraldi. He is co-host with Bill Cannon on Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. Phil served over 20 years in the largest police department in the United States, and he's investigated many homicides. Where do we go from here if Brian Laundrie is found and brought to justice? Can his family, this is a pressing question, can his parents be held for aiding and abetting or harboring a fugitive? This is the things that people want to know. And Phil, I know that, there's many different variables that can go into this question, actually this answer, but would you address that for me if you could?
Sure. Here's my opinion on that. Right now, he's only been named as a person of interest, so to speak. We all knew he was a suspect, but if the family is notified that he's, that they're seeking to arrest him, and now they continue to stonewall police on his whereabouts, and if they in fact can prove that they know where his whereabouts are, then you would then cross into the criminal aspect of a harboring a fugitive or aiding and abetting or whatever the charge would be, trying to protect him from the wheels of justice. Now, I'm sure the crime scene investigation is going to be so important at this point. Now, they already recovered certain items from the van that the FBI did a forensic investigation of the van a few days ago. That may coincide with what is found at the scene where the body was found. Now, the body may not be in the same place that it was when she met her demise. It may have been moved if there are animals in the area. So there may be more than one crime scene. But I think that all of that, you have the FBI involved. I'm sure that they're going to do everything and anything that they can. They have one of the greatest forensic investigation teams in the world.
Yes.
And so if things start to turn where they can point the finger at Brian for criminality in this case, and the family is notified he's now wanted for arrest, and they continue to stonewall, then they could be charged with a crime.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that detailed explanation. And I think you helped a lot of people because those questions come into DutyRon.com on a regular basis. Copper Horse sends in a $50 super chat while we were on with Scout Inquirer. She says, thank you to you and everyone that helped in the search, including the couple who posted the video, as it may have been an integral part to finding her and to finding Gabby. Condolences to the family and rest in peace, Gabby. DutyRon, thank you too for all that you do. Lost, but never alone. Thank you, Copper Horse, for that generous super chat and a wonderful message. Let me go to the next one to Jennifer Nobles from Bakersfield, California. Where are our boys, Orrin and Orson West? She is a great friend of mine and helps with the digital billboards for the missing Orrin and Orson West, now 4 and 5 years old. She says, sent in a $50 super chat. Thank you for that. Please let her be buried properly with dignity. My prayers go out to her mother and her father. Beautiful soul, fly high for eternity, with the prayer emoji. You will never be forgotten. Thank you, Jennifer, so much for that beautiful, lovely message. And Dana M. Perry sends in a $2 super sticker. Thank you for that. Hope Marini. I'm sorry about that, Hope, if I got it wrong. Rest her soul. Honored to donate to EquiSearch. Lost is not alone. Thank you, Hope. That $10 will go to Midwest EquiSearch, as always. Phil, I'm going to just take us back into WFAL Live. JB is reporting on this. Let's hear what he has to say. Let's take a listen.
Person's case. So that's where we are. If that changes, guess what? We'll be here live again to talk to you about where it now progresses now that he is a suspect being ready to be charged with a crime based on, of course, him being arrested. Let's see here. We took Charlie's comment here. Steve Young, #HJB. Oh, wow. Steve here.
Right, so he's just fielding questions from his audience. I'm going to go to Truth Seeker, which I just realized she is on with us. Truth Seeker, thank you for joining.
Hello.
Hi, Truth Seeker.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. Thank you for joining.
Oh,
what
good.
Have words for the Petito family?
That they're just in my heart and my prayers. I just feel so bad. I can't imagine. They're living my worst fear. I have a daughter the exact same age. And I just hope that, whatever the enemy meant for harm, that's going to turn around for good, because I work with domestic violence and victims, and I'm a domestic violent victim myself. And I pray that this will open eyes to people stuck in domestic violence, that there's hope they can get out before it's too late. That's
Amen.
just what I'm hoping for.
Amen to that. Amen to that. I thank you for
And I'm from Los Angeles. Thank you. I forgot to say where I'm from.
Thank you for all your support. You're always in the chat. And you're always in the comments. And I love that you took the opportunity to come on. This is, breaking news and something that we knew that, unfortunately, we were going to have to speak about eventually. And I said just yesterday, actually last night late, one of my viewers sent me a message privately, and they asked me, what do you think? DutyRon, so many people ask me this privately. What do you think? And I said to her, I hope she's found sooner than later. And here we are, just 8 hours later, with her with her recovery. And I said that because I wanted her family to be able to start the process. You see, 8 days of not knowing is the most horrific time for for a father, a mother, an aunt, an uncle, a friend, a loved one. So they could breathe a sigh of relief, but again, there's so much more now, so much more pain that they're going to have to go through going forward, and they're going to need support from complete strangers like us. And that's why I encourage everyone to put positive messages, words of encouragement, and not be nasty in all chats, in all Facebook groups. And I hate to call Facebook fake book, but it is a fake book. So, Scout and Truth, thank you so much for calling in. I am going to disconnect. You have any final words?
I just had one last thing I wanted to say is, in the video where they were pulled over and all that.
Right.
I just hope the laws in that state get stricter, because in Los Angeles, she would have been taken in she would have been kept overnight, and maybe that would have saved her life.
There's a couple of sides to that. If you're taken in for a low level offense, you're not held for a long time. And they would have both been, either she would have been locked up or both of them cross complaint. They would have been released. They would have gotten back together, because they are
right. That's true.
that wouldn't have been the protective shield. We the Monday morning quarterback and say shoulda, coulda, woulda, or if you did this would have happened. We don't hold the crystal ball, and that was not the see-all, end-all. That was not the solution here.
Right.
The solution was something that was beyond our control, and the big guy upstairs has that solution. And again, we don't fully know exactly what happened, because we do not have the perpetrator in custody. And even if we did get him in custody, how are we to know that we'll get the truth out of him? But anyways, I'm going to
Thank you. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye.
All right. So that's it for the call-ins, Phil. It's just me and you now. Again, there's so much conversation. I'm looking at JB from WFAL now. He's fielding tons of questions, and most of the questions, Phil, are now focusing on Brian Laundrie. Again, my feelings and my thoughts is he's taken the coward's way out, because nobody goes into the area that he went into for such a long period of time, and what he's standing accused of and what he has up against him. I don't think he just needed to go out and get in touch with nature. What's your thoughts on that? Am I far off there?
No, I would tend to agree with you on that. The only thing that I'm suspicious about, and I said this on our podcast that we did earlier, the family was the one that called the police and said he's missing. They led them to the area where they're searching. I don't know that that's accurate, that he's even in there. I would think with the amount of searching that the assets that they got out there to do the search, that they probably have a little bit better of a feeling that he is in that area. However, it's kind of classic that in these type of cases, when the walls start to close in, a lot of times people, they lead to suicide. So I don't know if that's going to be the case, but again, I would be a little bit cautious about to make sure that he's found in that area, dead or alive. And if he's not, then there's going to be a manhunt and a search for him to find out where he is, what his whereabouts are. And again, he already has an attorney in place, so he anything that he says or does wouldn't be, unless he makes a spontaneous statement. They can't question him. There's nothing that they can say to him regarding the investigation. It wouldn't be used in court. So that's that. As far as the last caller that stated about that if she had been arrested, I really don't think that really played a big part in this, and I'll say why. She was alive and that was August the 12th when that video took place, where the police interacted with them, and she was known to be alive till at least August the 25th. Now, had she been some harm came to her the next day, then it's a possibility that could have played into the scenario. But I don't think that really had that lot of much to do with it. And I've had some domestic violence arrest or cases that I worked on where I had to arrest somebody. Sometime it decelerates it, where the other person, a person who's arrested, maybe they chill out a little bit, they calm down, and then they try to work things out without violence. And I've had it where it's accelerated it too, where they just go harder to try and find the other person. So there's no way of knowing. You said you hit the nail right on the head, Ron, when you said we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know what the outcome would have been, but that's where we are today.
Absolutely, Phil. And, again, like I said, there's so much more work to be done here.
Absolutely.
But there is so many missing pieces of the puzzle, and there's so many what ifs. We don't have Brian Laundrie in police custody. Nobody knows where he is right now. That search is continuing, and that is going to be the next news story. So we're going to have to follow that closely. I have Mom of Six checking in, so I want to add her to the live stream. I just saw her shush somebody in the background, so that was cute. Mom of Six, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you.
Thank you, DutyRon. I just wanted to let you know that my heart is breaking for Gabby's family. I lost a grandson at the age of 22, and so I know the pain. And I just wanted to come on and let her parents know that they're in my thoughts and prayers. And I just want to tell you what a wonderful person you are, and I just love your show. And I watch you too, Phil. And thank you for everything you guys do. You're the best.
Thank you for that. I appreciate
And
that.
I'm calling from Ash Fork, Arizona.
You did the roll call. Thank you, Mama Six. Listen, most of the people who watch Crime Time with DutyRon watch Police Off the Cuff. So it is, again, an honor to cross-pollinate our subscribers, because we are really speaking from the same, we're from the same breed.
Right.
Bill, myself, Joe Murray, Sergeant Cannon, the list just goes on. And we worked in the same department, and in the department that we worked in, we strive to bring justice to families, and we did it for over 2 decades. So for us to have folks like you, Mom of Six,
Well, I appreciate your honesty.
we're honored to have you guys. And
You guys,
any prayers or any thoughts for the Petito family?
absolutely. I will be praying hard for them, and just let them know that their daughter is in the arms of Jesus now, and she's not suffering. And I thank the Lord that she was found as quickly as she was.
Yeah.
Because we still got Susan Morphew and Maya Miliete, and we don't know where they are.
So many. The list just goes on and on.
Exactly.
But yes, so Mom of Six, we appreciate your support. We send you strength, prayers, and positive vibes as always. Joe Murray's here in the chat, and he just sent in a super chat of $5. And he said, great analysis, Phil. Now it's time for good police work to build this case. And that's a criminal defense attorney. We all love and respect Joe Murray, and I'm glad that you're on the men. I'm glad you're on the men, brother, and we're looking forward to your take on this. I'm hoping that you can call in soon. I put the link up in the chat. So Joe, if you want to just come in on audio, you're welcome to join us, because we're going to wrap it up in a few minutes. Mama Six, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Love you. Take care now.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. What a sweet woman. She is such an engaging subscriber and friend. I was happy and honored to see her come on. Again, Phil, we spent quite a few hours today on this between Police Off the Cuff and Crime Time with DutyRon. The reports were a little shaky in the beginning, and as you guys were live, I was just so happy to hear the way you guys handled it. Is like, just like any good detective or investigator would do. Nothing's confirmed unless we hear it from law enforcement. And I waited till the 6 o'clock hour to go live, because I knew that we would either get a yes or a no.
Right.
And that's what I waited for. And I came live just 5 minutes before the 6 o'clock hour. And we had this press conference, and right from the onset, as soon as that lead agent spoke, I heard his voice crackle, and the wording that he used was a confirmatory recovery. And again, they didn't say 100%, but for them to come, as you and I both know as law enforcement professionals, to come out and give condolences to the family, they wouldn't do that unless they had extreme certainty that they had a recovery of their loved one. It's just not in the cards for us to do something like that. This is not fake book or one of these news groups. This is real life. Let me look quickly at the chat. Diane B is across the street, my neighbor. She says, DutyRon, Joe is saying, send them the link. Okay, I'm going to send them the link. I thought I put it in the chat. Phil, I'll let you take over full screen, give your thoughts on this while I send Joe the link.
Sure. Ron, I just want to say thank you to you because you actually helped Police Off the Cuff tremendously with your professionalism and the way you do your show. You've been doing it for a bit longer than Bill and I have, and you helped us tremendously. That's one of the things that I think we all try to do. We could have easily jumped all over that when it broke on the news that a body was found and talked about it in past tense, but we didn't know for certain that was her. It appears that it is now. So that's why when I heard you were doing a show, I just threw a comment in there. You asked me to come on. I was actually walking out the door. I have another engagement, but this was taking precedent. I'm just glad that you had me on. I appreciate it. I just wish that we were talking about something that would be more positive. Unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. We were praying and hoping, but I think that the professionalism of law enforcement, they were out there on the search. They were all over this thing as soon as they got called into it. In both, in Florida as well as in Wyoming, where the remains were recovered. So a good job by law enforcement. There were some people that weren't too happy with law enforcement with regard to Brian. I guess maybe they, in hindsight now, they should have had better eyes on him. But I don't think he's going to escape justice at this point. And I just hope that. The hard part of the investigation begins now. They have to really do a good crime scene investigation and move outward from there. And I'm sure they will be doing whatever they have to do to get to the bottom of this case.
Absolutely. And I want to just say special thank you to everyone watching on Twitch, Periscope, and Periscope and Twitter Live, Facebook Live, and all the news groups that we are broadcasting to. We are on live 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different platforms right now, multi-streaming to 10 different platforms. And I want to say a special thank you to everyone on those respected platforms for joining and interacting in the chat. Phil, if you got to go, I understand. I just looked on my text message and you said you had 5 minutes. Christ, I've had you here for 35 minutes.
Ron, it's quite okay. It's not like it was a life or death situation. I did have another engagement, but I was glad to stop by. Thank you for having me on. Again, prayers for the Petito family. Just keep them in your thoughts. If you believe in God, say a prayer. If you don't, just have a happy thought for them and some positive energy towards their family. I can't even imagine. I have 3 daughters. 2 of them are right in the same age category as young Gabby, and it really tugs at the heartstrings. Ron, again, thank you so much for having me on. I actually just jumped on through my phone. I didn't even log on through the StreamYard, but thanks again for having me.
Actually, it's a pleasure. And you know what? Your phone is clearer than your whatever you use to go live with Bill and myself. So just so you know, that actual image is super, super clear. I'm going to go solo. Everybody can see the clef in your chin. You know, we can't even see that when you're on live with Police Off the Cuff.
There goes that $100 camera I invested in, huh?
Use your phone; it's better.
Yeah, I got to look into that.
It's much.
Thanks
better.
again,
All right,
are you going to have Joe on?
Yeah, he's coming up, so it's fine.
My regards to Joe, great guy, and he's got great insight.
Hey, I can't wait to have him on because this is going to be his first stint back from COVID.
Yes,
so.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Phil.
Take care. My pleasure.
And I'll see you on the next one.
All righty, take care.
Bye now. All right, that was Phil Grimaldi, a retired first grade detective from Brooklyn, straight out of Brooklyn, as Bill says. Great friend of the Crime Time with DutyRon channel. Let's check in with JB and see what he's got going on.
That was taken on August 27th. We don't know where this fits in to the equation here if this is in fact.
Yeah, this is groundbreaking. If this in fact turns out to be their van, and I'm almost certain it is.
To the timeline, or we do, but we don't know, because we don't know that the key date now is when did Gabby lose her life? What day was Gabby? What day did Gabby? Excuse me, did Gabby die? What was that day? Was it before this or after this moment? Now I know that their Reddit is ablaze and TikTok is ablaze, saying that it was after this moment, or excuse me, before this moment. We don't know. We just don't know yet with certainty. And so there's been some online sleuthing going on that we've referenced here on the stream. Just a lot of folks trying to get answers and comb through videos like this one to determine where this factors in here. But to answer the question from Deborah, so since they found her in the Tetons, does that mean that the text about being in Yosemite was not sent by Gabby? Not necessarily. That text could have been sent at this stage, could have been sent by Gabby, and then Gabby lost her life soon thereafter. But I know that there are people out there that believe that the text was sent by someone else, by Brian Laundrie. The Petito family, Nicole Petito's mother, Gabby's mother.
So this is really a great piece of evidence, and kudos to that van life or hiking couple or whoever it was. I think it was somebody on TikTok or one of the live streaming services. They had a dash cam and they were riding through. This is a crucial piece of evidence. Guys, joining me now from a remote location is the esteemed criminal defense attorney, retired police officer in New York City Police Department, recovering from COVID-19, my good friend, the guy I love, the guy we all love and respect, Joe Murray. Joe, how are you, baby?
Oh, so good to be here. Thank you, Ron. And I gotta tell you, I coming back from the hospital, I was in the hospital and they isolate you, you're alone. And just to be able to read the comments and the support, the love and affection, it was so wonderful. I really, really genuinely appreciate it. It really impacted my recovery. And, as I sat there with other people who were alone, nobody to talk to, it was just so sad. But I want to thank you and the rest of the community, because it really made a difference for me. And I thank you so much.
Joe, I tell you, everybody loves you. And if you didn't know it, now you know it. So I know you've been following the Gabby Petito story from home as you're recovering. I know that you've chimed in a few nights with me. Any thoughts from the criminal defense side of this? Well, can you talk just briefly about Brian Laundrie, his family, whether they helped him? I guess it doesn't really matter, but he retained counsel on September 1st, as we know it. We don't know if it was before then, after that, but it's somewhere around September 1. Have you had a case where someone's invoked the Fifth Amendment and you kept them silent for a long period of time? Talk a little bit, without going into major details, what the people, there's a lot of frustration about him remaining silent. Can you talk just a tad bit about that, Joe?
Oh, of course. Yeah. These are all great questions. And I'm so happy that I have the opportunity to address it, because, sadly, I was still coughing and it was just not a good look for me to jump on before. But I'm happy to address it. I've done this numerous times. What this attorney and family did is 100% appropriate and should have been done. My legal advice to them would have been to do exactly what they did. Now, this is not knowing the facts, but if I was hired on this case, initially, yes, I would say, no, you do not talk to the police under any uncertain terms whatsoever. Morally, yes, you have an obligation. Morally, this is your fiance, your girlfriend, but for legal reasons, you cannot do that at this point. The proper thing to do, if he's innocent, if there was no criminal liability for him, that he was not involved in her demise, then the proper thing for me as a defense attorney, what I would have done is contact the local prosecutor, because there's something that we use in the law, and you're very familiar with this. It's called queen for a day. It's a proffer. You go in, it's a contract where the district attorney knows that you have an absolute right to remain silent. You do not have to answer any questions. You do not have to say a word. But when you're under suspicion of some crime that you're not guilty of, you can come forward, tell your story, give information that they can now use and investigate. And God forbid they still think you're guilty of some criminal activity, they can't use it. They cannot use it at trial.
It's under the guise of queen for the day.
It's called queen for a day. That's the vernacular we use for it. But it's essentially a contract with the DA. Hey, I'll come in and I'll tell you our last events together and how I left her. I had nothing to do with her demise. And they're allowed to now take that information and use it and investigate it. But if for some reason they still believe he's criminally liable, they cannot now use those words against him in their direct case. Of course, if he goes on the stand and lies about it, they can confront him and say, well, you came into our office and this is what you said. But, that's if he has no criminal liability. Let's just say, because I do believe he does have criminal liability. Well, the appropriate thing as a defense attorney, I have a duty of loyalty. My loyalty is to my client. I have to protect him. And my advice to him would have been the same. Say nothing. Say nothing. You cannot have your client go in there and implicate himself. Now, if I investigate this case and I determine, based on what he's shared with me and what I've learned, that this is a case that's going to be solved, this is a case that's going to be prosecuted, get out ahead of it and talk to the DA and come forward and try to make it as best for you as possible. Right. So I don't know if those conversations were happening, but that's what an attorney would do. If it's something that is so remote where he tells his lawyer and says, look, I had a fight with her, I walked away from him and I left, and genuinely he has no idea what happened to her or how she could have, passed. Okay, that's something to be considerate of. But if he's involved with her demise and, planted the body and moved the body, and there's so much forensic evidence that's going to come out of this, my advice to him would be to get out ahead of this. Let's talk to the prosecutor. Let's cooperate. Let's try to make this better for you. Right. Because in the long run, that's my goal.
Right. But his attorney obviously didn't do that. And it was for whatever reason, attorney-client privilege. Of course, we don't know. But at the end of it all, listen, here we have a situation where he leaves, comes home, lays his head down for 10 whole days and waits for her mom to report her missing. 8 days ago on September 11th, we were all reeling in the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. And the parents here reported their daughter missing. And then and only then was the police put onto that Gabby Petito was missing. He did not do that. Now, if the police come forward and bring probable cause, right? Then how does, this is just, I'm throwing in this scenario at you. If Brian Laundrie was or is still alive and they throw probable cause at him now, because he has an attorney, doesn't mean he's protected from prosecution. Now he has to come in, correct?
Well, probable cause of what? That's the issue here. We now have a decedent, a dead body. We now need Barbara Butcher to do what she does best, investigate this, look at the forensics, see what is the cause of death, how is it caused,
what DNA is on her.
You now need to connect that cause of death to him. And that's where all the cell phone and all the information that's going to come together. That is the only way you're going to develop probable cause. You have to, the cause of death, and relate it to him somehow, because you just can't assume it's him. Circumstantially, I'm sure there's going to be some circumstantial evidence, but you can't just assume he's the one that did it. You need evidence that it was him that did it.
Right. Correct.
So it's still a difficult case. It still needs to be investigated. But like I said, if I'm investigating this with my client, I'm his attorney, I'm going to look at the facts. I'm going to look at what was happening there. And there comes a point in time where you say to your client, let's get out ahead of this. Let's try to cut a deal. Let's try to work this out, cooperate, and maybe they'll come off the top count, or they'll come off the sentence a little bit.
Right.
But if he's not, for some reason, because we do know that she was somewhat emotionally disturbed and she seemed to be a little erratic there, maybe she did walk away and maybe somebody else did something to her. It's unlikely. It's very unlikely, but we have to flush that out.
Counsel, I think it's fair to say from the body cam footage, they both talked about their own bouts of suffering with depression and different various mental health issues. Okay, so we're going to say that both of them, not just her, I want to just be a voice for Gabby here. He was not mentally right either. He admitted that to the police. He said, we both take such and such, and it was all redacted from the statement, but we can use our minds and our heads here. So
absolutely.
Truth Seeker sends in a message. Would a defense attorney ever tell his client to go on the run? This is to you.
No, and it's illegal. You cannot tell someone to go on the run as a lawyer.
Thank you. I knew the answer to that, but I needed you to answer it. Again, like I said, the work is not done. There's tons of work to do. The investigators from the FBI, they have the top forensics investigators, their crime lab, and also their probably coroner is going to assist the local coroner in this autopsy, and whatever remains are there. I don't know the condition or the state of the body that was recovered. That Gabby's body, is it fully intact? We don't know. I don't think this is the time or place to even have that conversation, and it's going to be in the days to come. We're going to hear more about this. Again,
Ron, one of the things I want to address that you brought up is the parents' liability here. Do they have exposure? And I think that was a great question, because as we saw this case develop, obviously they were in touch with their son, and their son came home, and he came home without Gabby. So there's that issue there. What was being done? Now, you become an accessory after the fact when you're assisting and shielding someone from criminal liability after the crime. But here, I don't know if we have that, because they immediately retain counsel, and I believe the attorney also represents the parents. So unless they actively were involved in tampering with evidence, perhaps something in the vehicle, there's really nothing that I see jumping out that would hold them to some type of criminal liability of hindering a prosecution or tampering with evidence. I don't see it. The call was returned, and then it was turned over to the police. So I don't really see it, but I understand that's a big question. I hear it a lot in the chat as well.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I agree, Joe. And you make so much sense, and you give us the criminal defense attorney side, which is an important piece of this story. I've been busting at the bridges here to get you to come on, and I didn't want to be forceful, because I knew that that you're recovering from COVID, and it's a day-to-day process with you. So I'm glad to see that the coughing is slowed down and stopped, and that you look healthy.
Thank you.
Let's put Joe full screen for the ladies, because they love you, Joe. Thank you.
I was at the New York State Boxing Hall of Fame today. That's why I'm in the car. I'm on my way back. A friend of mine, Freddie Liberatore, was honored, and it was just a great event. I was going to be on Bill's show, but I was tied up at the Hall of Fame.
So his loss is my gain. That's the way I. But yeah, Joe, you look fabulous, and I'm glad that you're on the mend. And we got a lot more to talk about on this case, and I'd hope that you will join me maybe tomorrow night as we discuss further the steps that will be going on. I know that you got to go and get driving back home. Your beautiful princess is waiting for you.
Yes.
And she's waiting for you, and she's been texting me that you were having trouble with your phone and a charger and blah, 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 blah. And I said, all right, I'll wait till the end of time for Joe to come on. So
So good to be back. Thank you so much. And
Thank
I look forward to joining you again.
thank you for your input. This is criminal defense attorney and retired New York City police officer Joe Murray signing off. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it, brother. Take it easy. All right, there he was, Joe Murray, everybody. That was great to have him on, and I was glad that he stopped in. Let's go and tune in quickly to WFAL before we wrap it up here. I think they're on a little bit of a break right now.
As far as WFLA News Channel 8 is concerned, a lot of sister stations here, especially with NBC affiliates that were.
All right, I'm gonna go off there. He's just talking. All right, guys. So a lot of prayers going out to Gabby Petito and her family. We're sending strength, love, and positive vibes. I want to say a special thank you to everyone who has super chatted and who has positively interacted in this special breaking news coverage on Gabby Petito. Her remains, under all accounts, have been recovered in Wyoming in the Teton National Park. So, we heard from the FBI and local authorities were there. They did not speak. It was as I said, it would be a quick and short press conference to the point. I was true to that. I gave you that synopsis before we started, and they went straight to the meat and potatoes of what the conference was about, and that was about the recovery. And we were all speculating and talking about it behind the scenes for a good hour or so. And the social media, Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and you name it, Reddit was going crazy. Gabby is quickly in eight short days became daughter, sisters, niece of so many of us, so many strangers across the globe. This is a not nationwide story. It is a worldwide story. And Gabby Petito, may she continue to rest in peace, and her family, sending strength, prayers, and positive vibes. I want to say thank you to the searchers who were out there on horseback, on foot, in treacherous, difficult, dangerous conditions, searching in Teton National Park for 2 solid days and probably more. So I want to say thank you to those searchers who are brave and valiant and worked hard in very difficult conditions. We saw them on horseback. We saw them on ATVs. We saw them on foot. They used drone footage. They used everything under the sun. As Dave Rader from EquiSearch Midwest would say, they threw the kitchen sink at this search, and God bless them for doing a great job. And I got to say this, it was probably quite a bit of tech that helped them triangulate and get a specific location to search, because as you know, I showed you a Google Earth image, and I'll do that again here for your advantage. I'll show you a Google Earth image of that location. Let me see how this loads up here. This is going to be a Google Earth of the national park. Let me just remove it and see how that loads quickly. Get it up here for you. Okay, so this is a look at the overview of this location where they were searching. So I'm going to give it to you from Google Earth so you guys can see it quickly. So this is what they were looking at from an overview from Google Earth and some of the terrain that they were looking through, which is thick brush, some open fields, a lot of water, and a lot of nooks and cranny, as you could visibly see here from the Google Earth overview of Teton National Park. So that's a look at what some of the challenges are with searchers and whatnot. Some of the parking areas, a lot of campers, and it attracts a lot of people. So kudos to those searchers. And I want to just wish Gabby's family strength, love, and positive vibes. Let's put some prayer emojis and wrap this up on a positive note. I want to just say thank you to the replay viewers. Thank you to the live viewers. Thank you to each and every one of you who called in to send prayers to the Petito family. Much love and respect to those viewers that called in. I really appreciate the moderators, the people who are sending in comments and leaving me comments. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All one word, DutyRon. I'm going to put it in the chat right here, and you can go to DutyRon.com. Follow me there, and also subscribe to DutyRon on YouTube. My good friend Joey Brooklyn is here, and also Paul Peck Drywall. Don't forget to subscribe to those channels. Support Midwest EquiSearch. They search for the missing. Lost is not alone. Donate if you can to them. And also, I will put a link in the chat for the Gabby Petito for GoFundMe, so you guys can support their family. As I like to end all of these streams that we do, God bless the world, God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us and all victims of crime across the globe and their families. But especially tonight, Gabby Petito, may she continue to rest in peace, and may her family find strength and love from all of the online community, her YouTube family, and everyone around the globe. Good night from New York City, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace, everybody.